Hey, 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 what's up, parasites? Welcome to the Venom Vlog Live, Spitting Venom.
Parasite?
Yeah, it's a term of endearment, that's all.
Apologize!
And I had to get that in there. Yes, welcome, parasites, daywalkers, travelers of the night, and Spartans too. And Andrew, what's up, Andrew? First person in here, first person saying hello. Hello, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Let me go ahead and put your comment up here real quick. Hey, hey, since it's our first comment. Well, welcome, dude. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad anyone else who's watching now, watching later, thank you for being here. This is just a live episode we're going to do, unless you're watching it later. You're seeing a pre-recorded version or a post-recorded version of it. But we're just going to talk about the Venom 3 Last Dance trailer and kind of go through it beat by beat. And I have to keep it at a tight 2 hours at the most. So I'm going to try to go through this. I have like 11 topics that I created, and I'm going to try to stick with them. So if you show up late live and you want to talk about previous topics, I'm going to have to keep moving forward. And maybe at the end, if there's time, I can go back to it. But otherwise, I'm going to run a tight ship on this one. So Andrew, thanks for being here. Anyone else who's here, thank you so much. Let's start with the first topic, which I think a lot of people were kind of expecting, is topic one, Venom on Vacation / the Multiverse Bar. I saw so many people giving theories on what this was. And to be fair, it's not like I know the answer. I was trying to put my head in the shoes of, maybe like Kelly or someone, like someone working on this movie, and realizing like, okay, certain things may not be able to pay off now in the MCU because the MCU keeps changing because of all the stuff they're doing. And I could see Sony going like, all right, well, we got to do something with that sliver. So I have a theory on it, but it doesn't mean it's the right one. It's just one I'm thinking could be. But I want to hear all of yours too. So Andrew, if you have one as well, let me know. But this Venom, Venom on Vacation thing, the movie starts off, and I believe they filmed it in Spain, but the movie itself, I think that part of the movie takes place in South America somewhere, maybe even in Mexico. So the trailer is really funny. It starts off and you have like Tom walking, and he's got these Crocs on. So I got these screenshots here. And first, we actually saw that wall there to the left with the writing on it. We saw that way back when they first started filming. And Tom, and I think Tom was the one who shared a picture of it. And then we saw some behind the scenes photos because Spain itself, in this area that they were filming in Spain, they did some articles like, hey, we got this big, action comedy superhero movie from America filming here. And so it's pretty cool that they had all that. So we saw this picture before, but this just shows that we're kind of in the city that Tom was in at the end of Let There Be Carnage. He obviously left San Francisco and traveled abroad and went on vacation and found like a nice island resort somewhere and just kind of hung out. And as we saw in the other movies, there was he was in a dingy hotel at the end of Venom Let There Be Carnage, and then he got teleported into a nicer hotel, same hotel, but just a nicer version of it in the MCU, which I thought was funny because if you look at it like a metaphor, it's like, oh, so it's like the dingy Sony universe into the bright and better Marvel universe kind of thing. But then he woke up in that hotel, saw Spider-Man on the TV, and Venom seemed to know him because Venom mentioned right before they teleported that it can access almost the hive mind into every dimension, or at least it alluded to that. So there's a possibility that he actually knows who Spider-Man is because of past experiences with other Venoms, fighting Spider-Mans. So I thought that was really cool. And it was Tom. Thank you, Carrie. What's up? Carrie Dixon in the house. Another big super fan. I got to give you a shout out because I believe you run the San Diego Comic-Con unofficial blog, which I'm a huge fan of and have been for years. And I believe I met you through Andy Babacht or some other people, but you're amazing. And thank you so much for being here and commenting. And yeah, I think you're right. It was Tom that did that. So let me get rid of the images here. I'm doing a lot on my own, so bear with me. But let me get these comments. We also have one from Georgie here. Georgie, what's up? Hello, 11 topics in 2 hours. Seems like a Sony putting 11 storylines in a single Marvel movie. That's why I'm doing it. So we're going to try it. We'll see what we can do, right? That's amazing, though. Great comment. And then Andrew says, out of universe theory, Kevin Feige went to Sony and said, you can't just sneak these things in. Kill it and in that universe. Is that a seed, aka like what pulled out of Venom? Oh, I see. So you're saying he had a conversation with them and was like, what is this? And And he's like, take it back. I like that the bar is the same, but reflects the universe it is in. As you said, Venomverse is run down. MCU is a resort. Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel. Whoa, hey, Sky Cow with the $4.99, dude. Thank you so much. You did not have to do that. Sky the Cow also subbed to me on Twitch, which I always feel really bad at. If anyone watches me on Twitch play video games, like you do not have to sub over there. The reason being is because I'm rarely over on Twitch anymore, and I just don't feel like you'll get your money's worth if you donate $2 or $3, because I don't know if I'll play enough video games over there. So I just, if you ever want to, throw a tip or something my way, doing like a super chat like this is amazing. You can definitely do that, and that's awesome. Actually, I think we're only like $10 away from getting paid, because on YouTube I have to cross like $100 in order to get paid. And I think I'm like $10 away. So that's a huge help, man. Thank you so much. That's a huge dono, man. I appreciate that, Sky. You're amazing. Sky is a big Moon Knight fan and follows me on Instagram as well. And we've become friends on there. So thank you so much. I owe you big. That's amazing. Let me know if I need to do like a dance or anything for that, for a last dance for you for that $5. Let me know. Thank you. But yeah, so Venom, I'm going to leave Tom's comment up here for a second so I know where I'm caught up. But Venom, yeah, so I'm thinking, my theory is with the bar scene is that the symbiote eventually, that sliver, came back to this to the Tom universe, the Venom universe. That's what I'm thinking, because it couldn't have laid out there for too long without Doctor Strange or someone noticing that it didn't go back to its proper place. So I imagine at some point, who knows how long it stayed in the MCU, maybe it has a whole story to tell. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe that, excuse me, maybe that's a different symbiote altogether, and it's a sliver of a different symbiote. Like, there's a bunch of different things to explain, but if you look at the bar itself, in the MCU, it's nice and bright, and there's like a big fish or bass on the wall behind Tom, a swordfish, I think it is. And then in the Venomverse, the Sony universe, in this movie, when you see Taylor drop the thing down to capture the symbiote sliver, the background is different. There's like a paddle on the wall, and there's a horse. And so it has more of a rodeo theme, which kind of sets up the Venom the Stallion, or Juan, the horse, later on. So that, to me, shows that. So definitely a different bar. Same actor, Danny Rojas from Ted Lasso, playing the bartender in the MCU with his hair pulled back, and he's really nice looking. And then when you go to this version, looks like he's drinking at the bar itself, and he's a patron, and he doesn't work there, and he's just one of the drunks that hangs out at the bar. So, oh my God. And then Carrie, what? Hold on, I got to show this real quick, and Tom, I'll come right back to your comment. Carrie, you just put us over the edge, and I didn't say that to do that. I wasn't fishing for $10. I was just surprised that I think it's been a year and like 5 months since I've gotten a paycheck from YouTube. And because, like I said, you have to cross $100 threshold, and I just don't put out enough of content at one time to gain a momentum. And every time we start to gain a momentum, I either get sick, or we're having switching issues, or something's going on, and we fall back. And, so we start to gain like a momentum, and then we lose it. But I honestly think the main reason, besides these two amazing tips, so thank you. If I owe you a last dance, Carrie, let me know, please. There is Into the Depths, our friend Into the Depths, he shared our Batman video, and that actually gained us, just in views alone, I think like $14 or $15 or 20, close to $20. And that was probably the biggest jump I've seen on one video on this channel in a long time. So big shout out to him. Big shout out to Carrie here, and also Sky. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. You did not have to do that, and I greatly appreciate it. Hopefully today's show is entertaining. And let me get back to the topic. So, Seek, how's it going? I have a theory for Toxin. We'll get to Toxin later, so save that theory, and I'll come back to it when we get to the Toxin conversation. Yeah, thank you, Carrie. Thank you. The Spider-Verse anomalies. Yeah, I could see that with the Spider-Verse anomalies maybe returned the symbiote, back to, I don't know, it could be. But either way, I'm thinking, Eddie's on vacation. He's in this, town where the horse is, and where he's going to be at that bar where he frees the dogs, which we're going to talk about here in a second, because I have another thing about that I want to talk about that I haven't seen anyone else talk about. So, but yeah, we have all that happening. And then obviously we have, the bar. So for me, so we have this scene here. Well, I don't want to go that far. This is him walking around the city. This is him finding where the dogs are and heading in that direction. But I do have a shot, I thought, of the guys at the bar. Let me look. Yeah, here we go. So there's possibly Orwell Taylor is what everyone's saying is who Chiwetel's playing, and then we have Danny Rojas here as the bartender. That's not his real name. His real name is Christian, I think. He's from Ted Lasso, but I know him as Danny Rojas. And this is a different bar. His hair's long. It's kind of disheveled. So again, he's in the dingier Sonyverse, not the bright Marvel universe. Back there, the background's different. There's a paddle on the wall behind Chiwetel, and there's a horse statue, I think, right underneath that paddle. So a different bar. I mean, same bar, but just different universe. So that's why, to me, and then I think Danny here is a patron at the bar and not a bartender. So, pretty neat, but we'll see exactly how that plays out in the movie. But obviously, this military group is chasing Eddie while he's out in the world, because after the events of Let There Be Carnage, he's been outed, and they're like, okay, we need to know what this thing is and how it possibly ties into the Life Foundation. We're going to get to that here in a moment. Well, let me get back to the comments. What's up, Heartbeat City? How's it going? Welcome. Most logical explanation is that Eddie, when he gets back to the bar in the universe, he left another bit of symbiote separate from the MCU one. And that's possible too. I was thinking that the one that went in the MCU was actually Carnage, because remember, he eats Carnage at the end of Let There Be Carnage. And I thought that was Carnage's way of getting away, was dropping into a sliver and staying in the MCU. So that could still be a possibility where that sliver is, like a Carnage Venom hybrid thing. Because I always thought it would be cool for them to do Spider Carnage. And then maybe when he comes back to this universe, he has that. And who knows, maybe he's dying. Someone brought up that theory that he's dripping slivers because he's dying, even though it doesn't make sense that he'd be dying because he has a host. But, you never know. They could change the rules or add something to the lore or something in this new movie. So it could be. That is a logical explanation, though. That's what Georgie was thinking too. But then again, Sony can do mistakes on the and that's the other thing, is we got to remember this is Sony. So for sure. But anyway, so that wraps up this first topic. I just wanted to talk about that, and then now I want to go into Venom rescuing the dogs, which is this scene here, and then you get to see Eddie is wearing Crocs at the beginning of this scene, and he's got the Venom foot with toes, and then as he gets pushed around and fights these guys. He eventually kills one of the guys, bites off his head, and takes the cowboy boots off him. And then he starts walking away later on with the cowboy boots, which you see right here. Sorry, I put a watermark over these because I just didn't know if I'd get in trouble for sharing screens or not. So I did that just to kind of, so YouTube wouldn't flag certain stuff. But yeah, this shot here and this him freeing the dog. So I have a theory about this. This reminds me of Clintar itself, right? Clintar in the comics, Donny Cates introduced this idea that they were caged, and that Clintar in some way means cage. And I thought, oh, well, this is neat. Maybe Venom sees these dogs, and obviously Tom's a dog lover like I am and like a lot of us are, and he rescues dogs and stuff. So I'm sure that's an element in why they put that in the movie. But I also think, hey, there's another element here, which is he's freeing these dogs in these kennels and these cages that were being captive by these guys. And maybe that'll come in later when he frees the other symbiotes, like Toxin and the other, yellow and green symbiote that we saw. So we might see Scream, Lasher, Agony, and Phage, and then maybe also Toxin as the 5. Because we already saw Riot in a previous movie, obviously. So doubt we're going to get another Riot visit. But these other symbiotes, and I thought I had a screenshot, but everything's so small, so bear with me. I can barely see some of these images I have. I don't see them. I thought I had a shot of them, but it doesn't look like I do. But you guys remember what they look like. It's just all of them in these kind of suspended animation, they look like. And there's, like I said, a green one. I think it's like green and red or green and purple. And then there's a yellow one. So, yeah, I'm thinking we're going to get, a scene where maybe Venom at the end is like, I can't do this alone. We can't fight this xenophage. Like we're going to die. We're going to lose. And let's free these symbiotes and try to show them that humanity is worth saving and that there are good humans. And those symbiotes might not believe that because they're being tortured and kept at this location. But maybe there's a couple good scientists, at least one or two there, that they'll bond with and bring out some characters. I also had another theory that we see Patrick Mulligan being captured down there. But I'll get into that when we get to the Toxin part. But I have another theory about who else might be down there in captivity. So, yeah, Venom feet, right? Yeah, and we're going to talk about the jury here in a moment too, Tom. I have a whole section for them as well, and I got a great shot of them. It's good to see Eddie and Venom finally working together again after Venom 2. I agree. As you saw at the beginning of the trailer, they have to get the "We Are Venom" part down. They have to get back into working together, and that could be because you know Eddie got drunk most of the time while he was down in Mexico, and maybe that messes with his connection to Venom, and maybe they're just rusty. They haven't fought anyone in a while. So yeah, that's all good things, and all could be true. And again, Carrie and Sky, thank you for those amazing donations. I'm gonna thumbs that up too. I didn't know you could do that on here. I got my chat open on my phone here, so I can keep up with you guys as well. But yeah, what are your thoughts? What do you think about that? Like, what do you think of Venom? Him just freeing the dogs. There's a reason they put the scene in the trailer. I think besides just setting up a tone and showing a little bit of human fighting interaction with the symbiote and biting heads off. But I wonder if that scene's going to come back later when he sees the other symbiotes, and Venom is like, Eddie, remember the dogs? Like, let's free them. And maybe he does, and that helps save the day at the end. And maybe that could lead those other symbiotes to bond to other people that are down there. And who knows? Maybe one of them will remain bad, and maybe the others will be good. Or you never know. It's probably going to come down to a symbiote versus symbiote at some point, for sure. But let me go back to the topic. So that leads me to Area 51, aka the Vault. Maybe I don't know what this area is, because I mean it looks like it could be in the desert, and maybe even in the desert out by Las Vegas. So we have this shot here where you can see the facility, and it's mostly underground. Kind of reminds me of Day of the Dead a little bit, but there's an airplane hangar there. There's a couple little hangars in there. But this is, yeah, you know what? Hybrid Galligan, that actually is not a bad idea either. Possibly seeing Hybrid. That could be the big villain, right? It could be those suits come out and twist together and end up on Orwell Taylor or something like that. Who knows? That's a possibility, though, to Hybrid. But I have another theory, too, and we're going to talk about that here in a moment. But Area 51 or the Vault, I don't know what they're going to call this place, but it's out, it looks like in the Las Vegas desert area, like out past that area. And yeah, I'm just thinking this could be where the climax of the film is. It's going to be something like, remember I always talked about Life Foundation being almost like the Umbrella Corporation from Resident Evil? Well, this feels very Umbrella Corporation, where they have like this place that looks like not so, an unassuming place, looks like a regular military base, maybe run down, used for testing of some kind, bomb testing or something, but nothing like it looks operational now. And then you go underground and see a whole network of places to work on stuff. And so this feels like to me that this could be remnants or echoes of the Life Foundation from the first movie, and that it could be a joint effort between the government and the scientists, maybe that even worked at the Life Foundation, who were there pulling symbiotes off that first aircraft, and this could be something tied to that. I don't know. That's just a theory of mine, because it's a trilogy, and typically trilogies will tie back to the first movie in some way. So I thought about that. Maybe like this is just the government picking up all the stuff the Life Foundation had discovered and figured out in the first movie, and then add on what happened in the second movie in San Francisco, and then they create this new division that is operating out of this old, Area 51 type base where they lock up superpowered people like Toxin they have locked up. But I have a feeling they also may have Anne Weighing down here. And I don't know, maybe Dan too. What I was thinking, and I don't know if they're going to do this in the movie, is the Codex thing, where anyone who's ever bonded with a symbiote might have a sliver of Codex in them. And I thought, well, we never really saw a symbiote bond with Patrick Mulligan to make him Toxin. He's just infected, or maybe, Carnage stabbed him and maybe that sliver stayed in him or something, but we haven't seen fully what he's become yet. And I'm wondering if that's because a Codex was left in him, and maybe Anne, since she was She-Venom twice, if a Codex was left in her. And there was even a part in the second movie where Dan had the symbiote briefly to help rescue Anne, and that could be a Codex in him. So maybe those three are all down here, and maybe they're the ones who are going to get the symbiotes at the end. I don't know. I just thought that'd be a good way to bring Anne and Dan back in for one more go. And then that way you can still, if they're going to kill Eddie in this one, you can still, she's with Dan and everything. And I don't know. It could be a good way to get them in, or they may just not do the Anne and Dan thing. Maybe they're like, hey, at the end of the second movie, they go off and they have a happy life together. Maybe there's a news broadcast in this movie that shows they got married or something silly like that. Who knows? But maybe they're not even a part of it. But I was thinking if they were, maybe they'd be down here during this portion. Hello, Tevya. What's up? Yeah, hybrid. That's a cool idea, actually. I'd like to see that. Let's see. Tom says, I don't think the LF, sadly, because there's a green and red one and a Life Foundation green red one and a green and yellow one and not straight green. I think it's just symbiotes for the xenophages to eat. I mean, possibly. And like I said, it could be just like new creations, but then again, some of those symbiotes had different colors in Extreme Carnage, where they were like black and green and, and stuff like that. So, or red and green because of Carnage's influence. So I don't know. There's a lot of visual things they could do with it. I was hoping to see a white one so we could see like an anti-venom type one. But yeah, I don't know about that either. But anti-venom would be a cool way to defeat the xenophage. That could be cool. Because maybe, I don't know how to explain anti-venom, but that could be a cool way for him to change and become a threat against the xenophage. Possibly. But yeah, that's I don't know about Life Foundation either. It's just a theory I'm throwing out there of saying like not Life Foundation directly, but just the government picking up the pieces of their research and carrying it on. So yeah, you never know. And who knows? We don't even know if, I guess people are saying Chiwetel's playing Orwell Taylor, but what if Orwell Taylor is the father of Carlton Drake? We don't know. So we'll see. Do you think we are going to get Scream in this movie? I would like to think we're going to get Scream in this movie because we see that yellowish symbiote there. So I hope so. That would be cool. That'd be cool if I know people are speculating. Actually, let's go to the next topic, which is who's everyone playing? Chiwetel, Juno, Clark, and Alana. I don't know if you guys saw, but Alana Eubank was added to the cast. She's in the trailer. She's standing next to the little boy and the other younger girl when like everyone's being attacked and stuff. So the little boy that everyone has been saying for months is Peter Parker, which is funny. So she's there, and now I saw in her comments, if you go to her Instagram page, Alana's people are saying, "Are you playing Aunt May? Are you playing Aunt May?" And of course, she's not responding to anything. But I'm just like, man, people will not let that theory go. Even though I feel like there's stuff in this trailer that proves that it can't be Peter Parker. But who knows? Then again, it's like I said, it's Sony, so you never know. You never know. And who knows? They could have shot it and had someone on set call him Peter Parker, but then they decided that's too messy, or it didn't work in the final edit, or it doesn't make sense to the story. So when they were editing it, they might dub over and have that actor do ADR and call that boy something else. So you never really know. It could have been an intention at one point and it changed. You just never know with Sony and with movies in general. But Chiwetel, Juno, Clark, and Alana. So it looks like Juno and Clark, they both play scientists at the lab. Chiwetel, everyone's saying, is playing Orwell Taylor. Even though I haven't seen anything concrete on that. I was trying to look for his name tag on his military garb, but I didn't see one on there. I couldn't read it. But Juno and Clark, they're saying they're playing scientists. Some are believing that Juno might play Dr. Payne, who I think is from Venom the Hunger or Hunted. I always get those two confused. If you saw my trailer reaction, you know that I said the xenophage came from Venom the Hunger, but it actually was Venom the Hunted, because I keep flipping those two stories in my head because we read them back to back. So yeah, and then Clark Blanco, I don't know who she's playing. She's clearly a lab scientist as well. And Alana is playing this lady who's, looking over this young boy. And we'll talk more about her when we get to the topic 8, because I think she ties into Reese Ifans, who played the Lizard in a previous Spider-Man movie and has now come back. So let me catch up on some comments here. You can see that being the case. Yeah, Tevya, nice. All right. It could be. You'd like to see them do Agent Venom? Yeah, I would really like to see that too. I think Ann and Dan are just going to get a cameo through FaceTime or something. That's entirely possible too. For sure. I'd like to believe they'd come back at least for a full scene in this movie just to have been there. But maybe, who knows? Maybe if there's a funeral scene at the end, they're just there at that scene. You never know. But yeah, I hope we do get Scream in this movie though, Tevya. And I know some Scream fans out there really hope that as well. If Juno Temple is really playing Patricia Robertson, who's in the comics as another host for Scream, then yeah, possibly. Yeah, but putting Patricia Robertson, her name on her, that does feel like a very Sony thing, because they did that in Resident Evil movies a lot, where they just put a name on a character and that character didn't act like the character at all. But Patricia Robertson, for those who don't remember, she started off as a scientist in the Venom Daniel Way run, and then she became more of a badass over time. So I mean, yeah, possibly. I mean, you know what? You might be right. Actually, I think you might have just won me over on that one. Because, yeah, I forget sometimes that she started as a scientist and they did that whole thing with the Thing and everything. Like that rip off of the Thing in the Daniel Way run, which I liked. I thought that book was fun. But, yeah, I forgot that's where she started. So, good call. So, yeah, people are thinking that. I could see that over Dr. Payne for sure, because Dr. Payne's very obscure. But then again, so is the Xenophage, and here we are. We got a Xenophage in this movie. So for sure. So let me see. Let me catch up on some comments here. Personally, I'm not really excited for this movie, mostly because Sony track record as of late, especially with Madam Web being a garbage movie, on my opinion. That's fine. I mean, that's fine. You have that opinion. I mean, I don't know how you can watch this trailer though and not smile ear to ear. At least for me. I mean, I know there are people that haven't, but everything from the beginning of this trailer to the rescuing the dogs to the horse, like, I'm like, this movie just looks like fun, and to have a big alien invasion, which is something we've been talking about for years on this channel, and all these other leakers and scoopers and everything are like, oh, it's going to be the hunt for young Peter Parker, and blah blah blah, and I'm just sitting there going, you guys are idiots. Like, you guys are all idiots. And I get why you have so many subscribers sometimes, because you chase these things that I guess get people talking, but there's no basis for them. There's no facts behind them, and yeah, but so for me, I just kept my mouth shut, and I'm like, yeah, I know it's not that story, but I know it's going to be an invasion story. But then I peppered it in over the last like 2 years that we were talking about this, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's going to be an invasion story, and here we are with an invasion story, and a hunted story technically. So I was half right, because we get this hunted story as well. Orwell being Carlton's father would be a cool twist on the Hugh Taylor twist. I mean, that's what I was thinking, because it's like, oh, my son, that was him in the comics. Orwell was like, you killed my son. So if his son was Carlton Drake, that'd be interesting. Like maybe he took his mother's name or something, or he's just Orwell Drake, and they don't call him Orwell Taylor. I don't know. We'll see. But I just thought, oh, that would be a good way to tie it back to the first one, is if you made him Drake's father. But I'm hoping I'm wrong, and maybe this movie could be fun. I think it'll be fun, but I appreciate the opinion. I know I haven't seen Madam Web yet. I still haven't watched that movie. I'm not going to watch that movie, I don't think. And maybe if I have Netflix and it's on there, maybe I'll watch it, but I can't even see myself wasting my time, to be honest with you. Easiest way to introduce Agent Venom would be just introduce Flash in a post-credit scene if they want to tie. Actually, to me, the best way to do Agent Venom is just have Joe Manganiello come back in Secret Wars as Agent Venom for one scene in that movie, because he was Flash Thompson in the Tobey Maguire movies. And if that Secret Wars movie is multiverse stuff, you could have Tobey and Venom teaming up, but this time the suit's on Flash, and he's like, Flash Thompson? He's like Peter Parker. And and then they fight side by side for a few moments on screen. I could see that happening, but otherwise, I mean, there's just too much setup you have to do Flash Thompson. And Tom Holland's Flash Thompson, I don't see that guy being Agent Venom anytime soon. But who knows? Maybe that's where that sliver goes. Maybe it goes to that Flash Thompson. Some people theorize that little boy, it's Peter, which I'm hoping really isn't true. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that, because that's just a bunch of garbage. I think Alana is cast as Tess, the mother in Absolute Carnage, Separation Anxiety, because they even have a dog too, just like that family. Could be, yeah. So that family is traveling, and we're going to get into that. Let me go to the next section here. But as far as who's playing who, I don't know. Chewie, Juno, Clark, those are my theories. I said earlier, let me know yours down below. If you haven't already commented on the live stream, comment on the post stream and let me know what your thoughts are on who those characters or who those actors are playing. But Venom on the Run and the Jury. So I got this great shot of the Jury. And let me find it real quick. So we got... Wait, nope, that's not them. I swear some of these shots didn't load, maybe, and that would really upset me because I worked really hard on... here we go. There it is, way up top. So they don't look obviously like the comic book Jury, although they try to design their helmets a little bit with the faceless masks and stuff. They try to make them a little bit look like the Jury. So I don't mind this. This is a more down-to-earth, realistic take on the Jury. They're in fatigues, camo. who they are underneath, I don't know. Maybe they're being trained to be the hosts of these other symbiotes, and they're going to do the symbiote, soldier thing that they've done in the comics. Maybe that's the plan. I don't really know who these guys are, if we're going to see anyone under the helmet, if they're named characters or not. We'll have to wait and see when the movie comes out. But I thought this was cool because for months we were speculating on a specific scene when we saw the behind the scenes footage of Tom in the water. And it was him and Jake Tamori in a fish tank kind of thing. And it was like one of the largest water tanks on the Warner Brothers lot or somewhere in the UK. And we did a whole video, like a whole 2 videos, I think, on that lot, on the water tank and everything and what they could be filming there. And it turns out they were filming this big action sequence, which I was wondering. I was like, well, he looks disheveled. He looks like, a little stressed. Is he in a fight? And it looks like that's what's happening. He gets electrocuted underwater and actually goes toe-to-toe with these jury members. And I think he still gets away. So in my opinion, I think he's going to get away because there's a shot of him afterwards here. And then I think when he's walking to the horse where he's soaking wet. And I'm thinking that's because he gets away from the jury and gets on the horse and is riding that over the border into America. And then maybe at one point gets on the side of a plane, and it's just him working his way towards Vegas, I'm guessing. For what reason, I don't know, because we'll have to wait and see what the movie says about that. But yeah, that's just my theory on that. So that's where the jury comes in, and where Orwell is kind of leading them is he's kind of, and like, again, I'm trying to, and I'm calling him Orwell now, but I try to zoom in on that. Even at high def, I couldn't get a good shot. So if anyone out there has seen anyone zoom in on his chest or a patch on his shirt that shows his name as either Taylor or something, let me know, because I couldn't find a good angle anywhere. And that's if he's even labeled with his name. He might not be. But I love it. People were saying, oh my God, it's Mordo. And I'm like, oh yeah, in one universe he's Mordo, but if there's no Mordo in this universe, then that, I guess exterior would be, used for someone else, I guess, in the way of multiverse rules, I guess. But yeah, I just thought that was cool that there was the jury is actually going to be like a version of them, because obviously, we don't need to see the Iron Man versions, in my opinion. But we'll see. Maybe they'll surprise us. Hey, did you see that, dude? Thank you. Holy cow, man! Thank you so much for the dono. You're amazing. Hey, thank you. Everyone shoot some love to Did You See That? He joins Carrie and Sky with hooking us up today with money that is not necessary, but I am very grateful for. Thank you so very much. Big supporter, big, awesome YouTuber himself. So make sure you follow Did You See That? Make sure you follow Sky. Make sure you follow Carrie. These people are awesome. And obviously very generous as well. So thank you guys so very much. I'm saying thank you. And the picture, I'm trying to click the picture off. I don't know if you can hear me clicking. So you can see my face as I'm thanking you. There we go. All right, cool. Thank you so very much, man. I appreciate that more than you know. And all of you guys, that just you being here and talking with me is awesome. 18 people. I think this is the most I've had in a live stream in a long, long time. And granted, I don't do a lot of live streams anymore, but I try my best. Let's see. What does this say? Let me catch up on comments. My theories are different about the kid, but it's just that it's not Peter. Yeah, I gotcha. Maybe Dylan Brock. No, it's not Dylan Brock. Definitely not. Oh my God, we're way behind on comments. So sorry. Let's see here. I think one. Oh yeah, FaceTime. We read that one. Did we read this one? Oh yeah, we read that one. Okay. So let's see. Personally, I'm really excited to see this movie because Sony. Oh no, we read that too. And then we read this one with the easiest way about. Yeah, okay. So we read that. Some people theorize that the little boy's Peter. We read that. Alana is Tess. I mean, that's another possibility. I still think she's someone else. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Tevia, Georgie says to Tevia, yeah, I understand that. V3 is like the only thing I feel like watching right now. Craven was R rating, which spits the question of why didn't you do this before? Shtick from, yeah, that's the thing about, Craven being rated R. I feel like it's just an added on gimmick to make that movie stand out, because I don't know if the movie's going to be that good. So I think that was their way of like hooking people. Like, hey, we're making an R-rated Craven movie. Isn't that amazing? But I don't know. That trailer didn't do much for me. So, I don't know. Venom to me, the fact that it's getting a trilogy, we have a Venom trilogy is just amazing. It's so amazing. And I know some people are like, oh, we had a Venom trilogy without Spider-Man, but technically Spider-Man was in a cameo at the end of Let There Be Carnage, technically. But yeah, but still without him part of the origin, which is never thought we'd see the day. My theories are different about the kid, but no, it's not Peter. I don't think so either. Only big thing we have supporting it is Daniel RPK reporting on Orwell. Dr. Payne was confirmed by subtitles. Okay, so Dr. Payne was, okay, I was trying to watch the Sony, I watched the version on the Sony YouTube account, and their captions did not say names on them, which I thought was really weird. So maybe one of the other pages had that, and that's good, because I usually use that for confirmation too. So Juno's playing Dr. Payne. I gotcha. And Daniel RPK reported on Orwell. So yeah, possibly. I mean, his track record on the Sony stuff is, I mean, he's gotten more MCU stuff, guesses right, and as far as my perception of him, and not a lot of Sony stuff right, except for when trailers come out. And usually, but even I knew when I saw him post, hey, the trailer's coming out on this day, I also knew the trailer was coming out on that day at that time. So yeah, so if I knew it, you know, I hope someone like him knew it. Let's see. I had no idea xenophages are a thing in Venom comics. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about them here in a second. Some say that the hippie family is from comic series from Separation Anxiety, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that either. I have a theory about that. We'll get into it here in a second. What if 13 years have passed that Dylan and those are Anne Wang's side of the family? Anne died at birth and Dan bounced. Oh, interesting. I mean, I guess that's true. Time could have passed. We don't really know how long he was gone for. But then again, the clear indication that time didn't pass was Mrs. Chen, because when he sees Mrs. Chen in Vegas, she looks the same age. So unless she's like a secret immortal, I don't think that theory is, you know, sound, unfortunately. But interesting thought. It's sad that Eddie and Dylan have. It's sad we're getting the Eddie, Ann, and Dylan happy ending. It's sad. Hey, what's up, Kevin? It's sad we are getting, because I don't think we're getting that ending. Or you mean it's sad we're not getting that ending? Because I don't really care about Anne and like in the comics, I wished Anne didn't die the way she did, but in the movies, like I think Eddie and Venom are the couple in the movie in a way, and Anne, you know, she's happy, and I think that's the thing about Eddie is he has to learn to let go, because when he was part of her life, he kind of made it worse in some ways. And so this is his way. He's like, all right, if I leave her, maybe her life will be better. But like I said, maybe if Orwell does his homework, he'll know what will piss Eddie off. And if he kidnaps Anne Wang and Dan, that would lead Eddie to come, you know, find him. So maybe he gets tired of chasing Eddie and decides to kidnap Anne to bring Eddie to him. Yeah, I don't know. You never know. All theories are sound at this point, though, I think, for the most part. Well, if we're getting an invasion story, do you think Noah will show up at the end of the movie for 5 minutes? I don't know. I said this before, and I actually don't want to answer this question too much, other than I had a theory about this before, and I said that who knows if we'll see Null or a version of Null. But remember, in the first movie, someone sent Riot and Venom and the others to Earth. So who sent them? And I imagine whoever that is will probably show up in this movie. So we'll see. The easiest connection you could slot in with the hippie family is Rhys Evans' character being Doc Connor's brother. Kurt went into army while his brother was anti-war. I don't know about that either. I mean, but maybe. I mean, like I said, anything's possible. Madam Web was a 4 out of 10 for me. They really ruined it. I didn't have high expectations for that. Right before the movie started coming on, I was like, hey, you know what? Maybe this could be something. And then I think they released another trailer or two, and I was like, or TV spots, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to watch this movie. So it almost had me, and then it lost me really quick. Yeah, and the ADR and Ezekiel, yep. All right, so let me go back to Venom on the Run, the Jury. Now we're going to talk about the xenophage and other symbiotes. So this is topic 6. Xenophage first appeared in Venom the Hunted, which came out right after Venom the Hunger, where Dr. Payne first appeared, I believe. And the xenophage is a creature that can feed off of symbiotes or eat symbiotes. It shoots like a bioacid thing out that can burn symbiotes. They're very deadly and very formidable foes to go against a symbiote. So I think that's really cool that they're in this movie. Now, I took 2 screenshots. Let me see if I can find them. I believe there might be 2 xenophages in this movie, or it could be one that it just evolves, maybe, kind of like the liquor did in the first Resident Evil movie. Maybe it evolves. But this one here that's on the plane, which is attacking Eddie, which you can kind of see the top of its shell. It looks a little dark, but I don't remember it being solid black. But maybe that's because it crashes with the helicopter and gets wounded and it chars up its skin a little bit. Because later, when you see it here, it has a black shell on top. The eyes look a little bit different. The mouth is even slightly different. So these 2 look like different xenophage. I could be wrong. It could, like I said, it could be an evolution. It could change, its skin. Maybe a symbiote is bonded to the outside of it. I have no idea. But I just thought, like, okay, they look a little different enough. So in my trailer reaction, I edited the 2 images in and put a question mark. Is this Xenophage 1 and 2, or is this the same one? So I'm curious to see what you guys think. And then also about the other symbiotes. Are you, we talked about them a little bit earlier, but just recap, anybody in the chat that has a different opinion, do you think we'll see those symbiotes be broken free? Because like I said, Venom frees the dogs. He lets them out at the beginning of the trailer. And I'm thinking he might let the symbiotes out at the end of the movie. And if he does, then, they might go and bond with other people, or they could form together and form hybrid. And that could be the final enemy that, Venom fights. You never know. Because it's Sony. So who knows what they'll cram in. But I want to give credit too to Kelly and Tom, because they did some research. They read some comics and they figured out what to put in this movie. And I got to give it to them, because I didn't see the xenophage coming at all. And I was thinking of possibly an invasion story, because Avi Arad has been talking about that since the first Venom movie, because he's like, yeah, that's what we set up in the first movie. So he kept saying after the second one and leaning into the third one, he's like, I hope we just go back and do that. We just do an invasion story. And that's why for years I've been saying, well, he's a major producer. They're probably going to do an invasion story. And I like that Kelly took that concept and then still added all these other elements in to make it their own kind of story and their own way to send Venom off, but then also put in a little bit of what Avi wanted in there. And excuse me, I had to get some water. So yeah, let me hear some xenophage talk. Let me get rid of this image and get your comments going. Oh, wait, hold on. You didn't miss much with Madam Web? Yeah, I didn't think so. And yes, Juno Temple is officially playing Dr. Payne. Okay, got it. Cool. Marvel account YouTube does have subtitle and names. Okay, so except for Edgeforce character. Oh, so they left his name out for some reason. Interesting. Do they say that there's a point where they go? Well, we'll get to that with Toxin, because I'm curious. There's a point where we see Patrick and I hear a voice talking, but I'm not sure it's Venom. So I was wondering if that was the Toxin voice, because I'm wondering if we're actually going to see Toxin, or if it's, if he'll just be kind of hinted at or something. I imagine we'll see him. I mean, bringing Stephen Graham back to do this role, I think they'll give him a big moment, probably, if I had to guess. But we'll I don't know. We'll have to see. Do you think we are going to get Scream in the movie? Yeah. I think I talked about this. Sorry, I'm like way behind on comments. And then when I try to go back to where I was, it jumps all over the place. So I apologize. Give me a second to catch up here. Yeah, so that's the one we left off on, the null one. The easiest connection you should start with the hippie family is Rice. Oh, yeah, we talked about that one too. Yep. Ezekiel, we talked about that. Masks are accurate, but I hope they get super suits in the end. Oh, I see. I don't really, it doesn't matter, because if to get super suits only for like 5 minutes of screen time doesn't do anything to me. But who knows? Maybe they'll get symbiotes for a couple minutes. Yeah, you never know. Maybe that'll be their super suits. Madam Web on Netflix, actively ignoring it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, me too. I don't have Netflix right now. I alternate every month. We do a different streaming service and catch up on what we missed. And Netflix, I don't think we're going to have for another couple months. So yeah, I won't even have the slight temptation to watch it. And even still, I don't think I will. I hope they keep that the jury are friends and family of Hugh Taylor or whoever Orwell's son is in here. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, what if maybe they all worked for the Life Foundation and they want revenge? let's see, because the best part of the jury is that it's Venom's reckless past coming back to haunt him. That's what I'm saying, is like, that's why I kept bringing up the Life Foundation before, because that's an easy way to tie them back to the first movie, is to say like, hey, we were there when that base got destroyed, or when Venom got out, and he broke my friend's legs or whatever. Like, that's an easy way to tie it back to that. Or you could have had, what's his name? The bald guy, the goon in the first movie who Venom bit his head off. He could be, I guess he couldn't be Orwell's son. Or he could be Orwell's son. I mean, it doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, like, he could tie into the jury member somehow. He could be someone's brother or whatever. So yeah. But so let's see. Disappointed the jury doesn't have spikes on their uniform. Yeah, I mean, there you go. They could have put something like that, or a patch on there that had spikes on it, just to do a little visual symbol. I missed everything past Multiverse Hotel because things over here. Sorry. Hey, that's okay, man. You'll have to catch up though, because we got only 40 or about 50 minutes left, and I got like 5 more topics to get through. It's sad we're not getting the Eddie. It's sad we're not getting the Eddie. I gotcha. Yeah, I don't feel like that's a sad thing. I don't need, Dylan's a newer character. I don't need him in the movies already. Like, I really don't. Hey man, how you been? It's great to see how getting the third Venom movie. I'm excited, Super Killer. Thank you, dude. Good to see you too, man. Been a while. Thank you. Speaking of live streams, that reminds me, I was hoping if you would want to join me for Summer Game Fest today at 5. If I'm around, yes, I will, because I think they're going to release some Alan Wake stuff. So yes, I will look. Anybody else who wants to join Tevia, make sure you follow him. He's going to live stream that show, the Summer Game Fest. I'm excited for potential Alan Wake 2 DLC. So I'll probably be watching. If I'm around, I'll be watching for that reason. So if I am around, I'll be in your chat. Much as I want the kid to be Dylan Brock, the timing's wrong. Plus, that would make Anne cheat on her husband. And I'm not okay with that. Yeah, I don't really care about squeezing Dylan into this movie just to do it. Like, it doesn't work for me. You people wanted Venom to be R-rated. See, we're doing it with the trailer that isn't. It isn't. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I know some people want Venom rated R, but for me, I'm like, I don't see a problem with these movies. And to me, the movies, I think, would have stayed the same tone. And if they were rated R, there would have just been more blood and maybe a few more curse words. And to me, I'm like, yeah, but so that doesn't really change the movie too much, in my opinion. At least enough to warrant a rated R. And who knows, if it was rated R, it might not have nearly made $1 billion, the first one. It might have, it might not have, though. We'll never know. In an alternate universe somewhere, it came out rated R, and you'll have to go over there and watch it and see how it did. But in my opinion, same with Tom. It never needed a rated R. He doesn't eat people in the comics, at least. Then Eddie doesn't. And he's been a teen character since his creation. Same with Carnage. I mean, that's how I feel about him, and that's what we've talked about for years in the show. So, yeah, I agree. But, yeah, thanks for telling me about the Marvel page having the subtitles. I'll have to go check it out. I got a 4K HDR of the trailer on my tablet and scrolling through it. Oh, thank you, Heartbeat. Yeah, let me know. Let me know if you can see his name tag. Ann and Eddie came to terms with something. Sometimes if you love something, you let it go. Yeah, I think Eddie made the right choice. Sometimes people, it's like I always talk about Oliver Queen and Dinah Lance, Green Arrow and Black Canary. They are so amazing for each other, and they're also so awful for each other. They cannot get that relationship to work for very long, most of the time in comics. And I think there's a reason for that. I think they bring out the best and worst in each other, and that can be destructive. And that's why I've always been okay with them not being together, because I'm like, yeah, they're not soulmates to me. Like, if you've read enough comics with them, you probably will feel the same way I do. Yeah, Jonah Temple is officially playing Pain. Okay, good. You weren't missing much with Madam Web. I didn't think I would be. It doesn't look like the okay, now we're caught up to xenophages. It doesn't look like the xenophages are going to be intelligent like their comic counterparts. They just look, yeah, and that's okay. I'm fine with them just showing up and having the mission of kill Venom, kill symbiotes. Like I said, I think we see them attack the helicopter. One is on it when it crashes. So I don't know if that's the same one that we see later, if the Life Foundation, or not Life Foundation, if the government people capture it and Eddie in Vegas. Because I'm thinking Eddie gets captured in Vegas, because when you see him in the cell, he's wearing most of his suit, that he was wearing in Vegas. So I think he escapes them all the way till Vegas, and then I think they have a showdown in Vegas. They capture him in Vegas and bring him back to the facility, and then the whole final act probably takes place in that facility where the xenophage attacks. Eddie probably sees that, okay, I have to free the other symbiotes in order to survive this, and he does, and maybe that benefits him, maybe it doesn't, I don't know, we'll see. But I think there's a reason they did that dog scene at the beginning where he frees the dogs, because like I said, I think it'll come back later at the end of the movie. But yeah, good questions. I love this. Madam Web isn't even. Yeah. We don't talk about Madam Web. Panhead, what's up, dude? Love the trailer reaction. Hard to believe it's been 6 years since Venom 1 started filming. I can't believe it either. I mean, I can't believe we've done this for 6 years. I remember when I first told my friend Joe of the Joe on Joe podcast. If you're a G.I. Joe fan, you should listen to that podcast. Joe in California, I was like, hey, would you like to be on my show? I want to talk about, I think it was Venom the Mace. And I was like, would you be a guest on here? We can film it in Golden Apple Comics and we can talk about Venom the Mace. And he was like, sure. And he goes, what episode number is this going to be? And I said, I don't know, like 200 and something or 300 and something. And he was like, what? He's like, how did you make 300 episodes of Venom already? And I go, well, there's a lot to talk about with this character, and here we are now nearing episode 900. So 6 years later, just amazing. And thank you all for pushing me and keeping me going. I wouldn't be here without that encouragement and just having fun. Like we have fun doing this stuff. It's been awesome. I'm comparing it. I think they're separate. You think, yeah, okay, fair enough. I think so too, maybe though. I think there is two, one comic orange, the other is black and flesh tone. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you. Hey, Eddie's mullet. What's up? So one other theory that Mordo dude becomes a form of hybrid. That seems the most obvious villain. So someone was saying that earlier about the symbiotes being freed and twisting together and becoming hybrid, or the symbiotes that are coming from outer space. If those are different than the ones that are captured underground, if those are different symbiotes, then maybe those ones land and they see the xenophage and form hybrid to fight it, and then bond with Taylor, or who knows? I mean, it could be all over the place. But yeah, I mean, hybrid. That if as far as symbiotes go, progression wise, Riot and then Carnage is tougher than Riot, and hybrid would theoretically be tougher than Carnage in a movie sense, obviously, because there'd be 5 symbiotes as one. So I could see that. And what's up, Eddie's mullet? How you doing, man? What'd you think of the trailer? I just wish they did Carnage right. How do you mess up the perfect bond? It's the whole character. I mean, I know there was definitely some missed opportunities with that movie, because I thought Woody Harrelson was great and he's a good cast for Cletus Cassidy, but I felt like there was some balls dropped in that movie in a bad way. And like, what really sucks is that it had potential, especially with Andy Serkis directing, and I was really blown away how I didn't like the movie as much as I did the first one. And I thought it had more going for it, because I was like, all right, Kelly and Tom kind of co-wrote the story and Andy directed it. I feel like that's a good combination. And I don't think it wasn't a terrible combination. It just wasn't a great one. Whereas I feel this just being Kelly and Tom, and I think that's good. And obviously not just the two of them. They have a good team around them. They've been working on it for 3 movies, and now they could probably all finish each other's sandwiches. I mean, sentences. No, I meant sandwiches. That was for Bizarnage, because I know he's a fan of the cartoons, Disney cartoons. But yeah, I mean, so those guys, I could see that, like, they have a good team now, and they were like, all right, this is what we want to do. All right, he wants to do an invasion story. Well, we want to bring in this element. We want to have Venom on the run, and we want to do this. We want to film in Vegas. And, so it looks like it's just a good melting pot of everybody just being themselves and, being campy, goofy Venom, which is fun. I wish I did Carnage right. Yeah, oh yeah, sorry, I just read that. This might sound ridiculous, but Madam Web is Sony's Fantastic Four. I mean, yeah, I guess so. I counted 4 symbiote canisters in the lab. Yeah, and then how many meteors were coming? Like 6 or 7? So I'm thinking the ones in the lab are different than the ones that are coming down from the sky, and that we're going to see a big finale at that military base, probably. So we'll see. One thing I don't understand is why kill off Carnage in the second movie. Well, I mean, now that you've seen the story for this movie, do you see a place for Carnage? I really don't see one. So for me, I guess maybe that's why. Theory, though, symbiotes aren't invading, they're running. That's how you end up with some of the non-genocide ending. Oh, I see. That's interesting. So xenophages took over Clintar, maybe. And because maybe Clintar sent Riot and the other symbiotes to Earth to invade, to find a new home for them, because they were in danger of losing their home. And then they didn't find another home in time, so most of them got wiped out. So the few that remained, almost like Autobots and Decepticons, they left Clintar to come to Earth, and the xenophages followed them here. Is that what you're saying? Because I could be totally down for that. So that way some symbiotes bond with humans and create heroes, and some create villains. based on who they bond to. That's interesting. That could be interesting. That does reduce the symbiotes down to single-minded individuals almost, but I don't know, because that's what I liked about Venom is he came to take over Earth and he was tortured on Earth by humans, but he still met Eddie and found a soft spot for humans, and he saw beauty in their world, and that showed a little bit of depth to him as a character, a little bit more than one-dimensional. So I don't know, we'll see. I mean, but that's not a bad theory too. Like 2 many times Carnage died, but it doesn't look like he's coming back. No, he got swallowed by Venom. So that's another thing is it's maybe he's still inside. Maybe my theory about the sliver going away being Carnage isn't true. Maybe there's still a Carnage inside Venom and he makes his own hybrid at the end where he's Venom Carnage to fight Hybrid. I mean, yeah, you never know. It's not quite anti-Venom, but, we'll see. Seeing the asteroids make me think that maybe there are more than one xenophage. Oh, you think those asteroids are xenophages too? Yeah, that's also possible. I didn't think about that. The introduced Dylan question is, what the hell are they going to do with him? Yeah, I don't see them introducing Dylan. That doesn't make sense. What's up, Eric? Anyone else realize the bartender's also due from Ted Lasso? Yeah, I was saying that earlier. Football is life. I said that in my trailer reaction, actually. That's cool. Yeah, he is Danny Rojas. And so is Juno Temple. She's from, Ted Lasso as well. Speaking of Alan Wake, one of my favorite media restoration channels remastering Bright Falls in 4K. Oh, that's cool. Send me a link to that when it goes up. Comment it or something later because I posted Bright Falls on my other YouTube channel, the original version, so not high def. But I love that series. And Philip Van, the director of that series, I've had the pleasure of interviewing him and talk to him. Really nice guy, very talented dude. I was hoping he would do another Bright Falls for the new game, but we never got that. So you may already discuss, but do we think the runtime will be 90 minutes? There was a lot of packed in that trailer. That's a good question. We haven't talked about runtime yet, Carrie. What do you guys think? I'm gonna guess maybe like they'll probably get closer to 2 hours on this one. I'm thinking, because I think the finale is going to be a big thing, so they're going to probably allow themselves a little slow time in the middle because of a big payoff at the end. So I don't know. I'm thinking possibly, hour 50. So something a little closer to 2 hours than we've gotten before. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Oh, look at that. So Georgie says also it could be an hour, 50 minutes, somewhere around that. So I'm with Georgie. I think me and Georgie are right on the same wavelength there. Nice. For Sonic? Okay, sweet. As for Venom fan, I'm happy we got Venom Trilogy, but in the end, if Eddie and the other died, then what was the point? But saying, so what's the point? So if one of us dies, like if I die, I still feel like there was a point to my life. So I think if Eddie and Venom die, I think there's still a point to the story. Doesn't mean it's pointless just because their chapter ends. Like Sopranos had a lot of points in that show, and it ended the way it did, and Breaking Bad, and all these other things. So I don't think just because a character dies at the end, it takes away the point of the story being told, in my opinion. So yeah, just my opinion. 6 years, time flies. I know, right? That sounds like it hasn't felt like 6 months. I've gotten way more gray in my beard and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely been 6 years for sure. And all the health stuff I've gone through, for sure it's been 6 years. But yeah, I'm glad we got this trilogy too, for the sole fact that this made people realize Venom isn't pure evil monster. I agree. And it also showed how much of a household name the character is. But I don't like that it's made the misconception that Venom is a symbiote's name. That I also don't like too much. That's an oversimplification they did in the movies, but yeah, whatever. Juno's also I know. I love that she's in this too, as Dr. Payne, apparently. The trailer kind of surprised. I'm not sure what exactly I begin with, but I figured we would had a recognizable villain. I like the jury and xenophage inclusion, though. Yeah, I think so too. And I think it's good that they're not showing you who maybe the final villain is yet on the first trailer. That would be giving away too much, I think. Also saw one more of a split second. Couldn't read Taylor's outfit. Okay. Yeah. I've been looking. I couldn't find anything. But yeah. I think Venom 2, there should have been an extra fight in the party scene, like Carnage showed up. Yeah, I would have liked to seen that. Carnage and Venom fighting in a concert. That would have been a pull from the comics, which would have been awesome. And the sound could have messed up their symbiotes while they were fighting. That could have been really cool. But we might get something like that in Vegas. You never know. It's very loud in Vegas. Which Venom loses when he would decide when he needs Eddie or something. Oh, okay. I see that. Movie had so much potential. Yeah, I feel like Let There Be Carnage had a lot of potential that it couldn't reach. I'm just trying to think like a producer executive and leave the door open for a streaming show. Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I think without Tom involved, I can't imagine they want to do much more with this franchise. Um, I think Sony has plans to do this integrated thing at some point, and I guess Tom and them were just like, look, just let us do our movies. Like, if you want to use us in some way to like the No Way Home thing or whatever, fine, but just to tease fans. But like, just let us do our thing. It's kind of my impression. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's just how it feels like to me, and I'm glad if that's the case. I hope they did say that because I don't want them to be part of, Craven and all that anymore. Like at one point, I would have maybe when they first announced Morbius, I'm like, okay, maybe I could see them Venom and Morbius teaming up like they did in the comics. And then after I saw Morbius, I'm like, I'm fine. I just keep Venom his own thing. Venom clear stated that it came out to take over Earth. Wouldn't Venom had mentioned that when they were on the run at some point though? But he did. They said that in the first movie. Venom clearly stated they came to take over Earth. Wouldn't Venom had mentioned that when they were on the run at some point though? I'm confused by the question. So yeah, Venom did state that. Yeah, we talked in the first movie. He said that. But wouldn't Venom have mentioned that while they're on the run? You mean in this movie? Like, I'm sorry. I don't know if that's one statement or I apologize. You're probably being very clear, and I can't. My dots aren't connecting. Could be worse. Lead price. Yeah, I mean, it could be. There's always could be worse. You're thinking 2 hours, Tom? All right, 2 hours, hour, 110 minutes. So like 150 then? Okay, sweet. Wow, really? 160 to 175 minutes? 3 hours? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. They don't have the budget for that. Point is, Eddie mattered and made a difference. That's true. He did. 40 minutes of Eddie Venom doing things like gambling. Yeah, there's gonna be that for sure. There's gonna be some silliness. It sucks we never got Venom and Spider-Man. Yeah, but you never know. You never know. At some point, I mean, we've gotten Venom and Spider-Man before. It's kind of cool to see something a little different. They made it their own thing, and that's kind of cool. He is a loser. Yeah, I like the whole Eddie is a loser, Venom is a loser thing. I'm not really interested in Sony cinematic. I'm not either. That's why I'm just cool with the Venom stuff. That's the symbiotes were on the run from something. Oh, that the symbiotes. Oh, right. I gotcha. Yeah. That's true. Oh, I see what you mean. So yeah, okay. So you're saying that the xenophage things, they weren't on the run looking for another planet. I mean, they weren't looking for another planet because they were on the run because he would have mentioned that to Eddie. You would think that, but also Venom in the comic books keeps secrets from Eddie. So maybe this is the movie where he reveals that secret and there's a little bit of tension between them because Eddie is like, oh, you've been lying to me this whole time, or you've been withholding something. So yeah, you never know. So yeah, let me go to the next topic. Number 7, Patrick, aka Toxin. So obviously we have Toxin in this movie. Here's a shot of him right here, Patrick Mulligan. His eyes are lighting up greenish. It looks like they were kind of bluish in the last movie. I didn't know what happened to him in the last movie. It was not visually clear what happened to him because he gets stabbed or something or thrown, and then he's laying there, and then his eyes start glowing as the police are coming into the church, and he's going, symbiotes and super creatures, they should all be killed or something. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, like what does that mean? So I'm thinking something is talking. I thought something was like a null was talking through him or another being. Maybe the xenophages are mind controlling him because he was in that battle with Carnage and Venom. And maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'm going all over the place here, but I don't know what he is yet. But if he's infected with a symbiote or what, I don't know yet. And in this trailer doesn't show anything other than he's being held captive. So I don't know if he has a codex in him, if he has a full symbiote in him, if he has a seed that is birthing into toxin in him, why his eyes look like that. And because no other human has acted like this that has a symbiote. So I'm really curious about what he could be. So feel free to drop your theories. Here's another shot of him where he's screaming. So whatever room he's in, they added sound security to keep him stable. So he's reacting like a symbiote would in the cell. So yeah, so maybe he does have some kind of seed or something in him, or he is just toxin now, and they're keeping him in his human form, which would also make sense. And that would also lead to him being like, I hate humans because of what they're doing to me, but he does like the human he's a part of because he's a good host. And then at the end, when the other symbiotes get freed, if they do become hybrid, maybe Eddie teams up with Toxin and the two of them fight. So that could be something. Anyway, yeah, tell me your theories about him real quick, and then we'll move on to the next topic, which is another short one, which will be the road to Vegas. All right, let me get rid of the picture here so I can see your comments. All right, let's see. Also, I don't think Riot cares about his kind. No, but Riot was trying to get that ship back to Clintar at the end of the first movie, so he cared about completing his mission. That's for sure. So, yeah, my theory for Toxin is that he's going to be like Eddie, Toxin, and thinking the symbiote is evil, but they'll team up in the end. So, okay, so just what I was saying there. Yeah, me and Tom are on the same page. Also heard his design is going to have more green on him than normal, which would be interesting. I mean, I guess that explains the eyes, for sure. Isn't Patrick Mulligan a D-list character at best? But, I mean, isn't half of Venom's rogues? Like, you saying a Xenophage is an A-lister? Are you saying the Jury are A-listers? Orwell Taylor's an A-lister? Riot's an A-lister? Like, no, that's who Venom, that's his cup of tea, is D-list characters. And he kind of elevates them to like C or B-list, some of them. So, no, I mean, who cares that they're D-list? I mean, and Patrick Mulligan was a character I didn't even really believe he was really going to be in the second one at first. And then enough came out to where I was like, okay, yeah, they're really going that route with him. And now he's possibly the son of Carnage, like he is in the comic book. So they're going to have to do a lot to make me even begin to care about Mulligan. Zero interest. Now, I've never really liked him too much in the comics. I've seen the potential there with that character. But in the last movie, he was just like the a-hole cop that hated Eddie. So I hope that whatever they do with him in this one, there's an arc to where you can look at his performance in the second movie, and then whatever he does in this one, maybe he becomes different and better, is what I'm hoping. Because then that will make me care about him a little bit more. I like the actor who's playing him. I love Stephen Graham. He's a great actor. But another potential wasted in that second movie. Tevia Patrick was Toxin for a bit, but got killed for no reason, and Toxin's been with Eddie and two kids since then. Yeah, I mean, Toxin's been bounced around all over the place. Now he's bonded to Bren, I think, in the comics now, who's the son of a Jury member. Actually, most symbiote hosts are kids now, for the most part. I mean, you have Red Goblin, which is Normie Osborn. You have Dylan as Venom, and you have Bren as Toxin. So for at least those three are all kids now, the new generation. Patrick was the most disappointing part of Venom 2. The guy's a fine actor, but he just looks like a middle-aged man with a dad bod. Yeah, I mean, they didn't do much with him other than just make him the ridiculous bullheaded cop that wouldn't look at reason, and he just hated Eddie instantly. So yeah, I agree. I think there was potential miss there. What if Patrick is a poison? That's theoretically interesting. Still, they're going to have it to do something to make me care. Oh, interesting, a poison. That'd be something cool to show up in these movies. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, well, that'd be interesting if a Xenophage, if it could do something like create like a poison, like an offspring or something. It was to kill off him in the comics. Yeah, because they haven't really done much with him since they killed Patrick. No, you're not wrong with all those villains being a list, except for Carnage, who I think is, he's definitely a list. Carnage is. Carnage is probably Venom's only A-list rogue. Yeah, next to Spider-Man, for sure. Toxin seemed to have a hive mind by saying, as long as Venom lives, everything will end. They seem to really tease the separation of Eddie Venom. Yeah, or just the death of both of them, maybe they'll Thelma and Louise it, the two of them. So, but that's the line he says in the trailer. As long as Venom lives, everyone or everything dies or will end. So yeah, I thought that was him talking in the trailer. That's cool. Which we are getting Venom War up. I'll have a Venom War prelude episode coming up after this. So later tonight, you'll see that episode upload. But for now, let's keep moving on. We got 4 topics left, and I want to try to get them done in the next 30 minutes. Road to Vegas, the Connors family. So my theory, and I want to hear all of yours, and I know some of you already have them and already said them. If you could re-say them for me. This family here on this little bus, they have a dog. This is Rhys Ifans, who played the Lizard in Dr. Connors in the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie. Now, the reason I think he's still playing Dr. Connors is because I think it would be neat for him to do so, where you have a Dr. Connors hanging out with his son Billy and his wife Martha, and maybe Martha's sister, or or something. Who knows? Maybe that's Mary Parker, the younger lady, because obviously in Andrew's universe, they all work for Oscorp. But you have Rice Ivans here playing with both hands the guitar. And I think that's symbolic of Dr. Connors. I had written a Spider-Man 4 screenplay for, remember I told you guys this, with two of my friends back in 2007, pre-ANEURYSM. So I don't remember all the details or any of the details. I just know what our journal was saying and what my friends have said. Where my friend Ben and I can't remember the other guy's name, unfortunately, off the top of my head. But we all wrote a script for Spider-Man 4 for Sam Raimi, hoping he would still be attached to the fourth movie. And this was right after Spider-Man 3 came out. It was like summer of 2007. And in our script, we had the Lizard was the main villain. And we had a scene where when he first grows his arm back, before he turns into the Lizard, he grows his arm back first, and he's like playing catch with his son, and he's hugging his son, and he's playing guitar. It's like these little things where that two hands would help out on. Not saying you can't do that stuff with one hand, but just for him having it back, it was like all these memories he can now create with his son. So I was like, well, this would be neat if he decided not to become a scientist in this variant universe of the Sonyverse, where he's just a regular dude who didn't become a scientist. And that way his arm never got ripped off. And he's more of a laid-back hippie type. And they live in a van, and him and his family just travel around the United States, driving city to city. I just thought that would be an interesting thing to put in here. I mean, only because he's playing that character. If that actor wasn't playing him, I would not even assume it's Connors or anything. I would just assume it's just a random family that he's run into while he's trying to head to over to Vegas. So I believe this is where Eddie is. He's hitched a ride with this family once he crosses into either the U.S. border or after he's done riding the horse or falls off the plane or something, where he hangs out with this family for just a small smidgen of time and is crossing the border or crossing into Vegas. But let's see. I thought I had another picture of them. So we have this picture of Eddie, right, where he's in the van with them in the back, kind of just looking out the window. And then we have this shot here where this is the family. So that's, what's her name again? Is it Alana? Alana, yeah. Alana Eubank is there playing the woman on the right. And she was in a movie called Waiting. I don't know if anyone has seen that movie. She's been in a lot of movies. She's a great actress. But she was in a movie called Waiting, and she played like this very temperamental girl named Naomi who would scream all the time. Waiting's a phenomenally funny movie with Ryan Reynolds, I think, and Dane Cook and a bunch of other people. But she plays Naomi in that. She's really funny. So anyway, she plays, I think, Martha Connors, but some people online are saying they think she's Aunt May because they really want those rumors to be true to justify them coming out and making videos about the rumors and leaks. And I just think this is just, if it's not the Connors family, it's just a random family. I know Connors never had two kids in his universe or in the comics or anything. He just had Billy, his son. But like I said, it's a different universe, so maybe he has two kids in this universe, one older and one younger. But anyway, that's my theory on this. Let me see some of yours. And you tell me what you think. I can't see Eddie willingly letting go of Venom. Yeah, I don't see that happening either. I think if one dies, the other one's going to go with him. Because they even did that in the first movie where they were willing to die together. After they got blown, they were on the ship and it blew up and they fell in the water. Not sure why Eddie is going to Vegas beyond possibly that being where the secret symbiote holding base is. I think that's where the base is. I think it's near Vegas. And like I said, I don't know what's summoning Eddie to Vegas. If I were to guess, like I said, maybe that's where Michelle Williams, Anne Wang's character, comes in. Maybe the military gets tired of chasing Venom and they kept losing him. And then after confronting him in the water, they lost him again. And I think maybe like, all right, well, let's go kidnap someone he cares about. And maybe that's why the scientists yell at Orwell. They're like, what are you doing? And he's like, there's an invasion coming here, and that we can't stop, so like, we need to get this guy. And I could see him being so desperate, especially if he's out for revenge, by taking someone that Eddie loves, and maybe it being Anne. So maybe Anne being captured is what lures Eddie to Vegas, and they spring a trap for him there and capture him there. So that's just my thought. We'll see. It's funny because both Connor's son and the son in Separate Anxiety are called Billy. Oh, that's right. That's true. That's true. And I know some people are theorizing that they could be that family. And I wouldn't put that past them, because like I think Kelly and Tom looked through some of these comics and they looked for, random things. But I don't know, why cast that actor from The Lizard? But then again, they also cast the guy who played Mordo to play Orwell Taylor. So I don't know. You never know with this stuff. If we're talking about that character with 4 letters, then yeah, I want that thing to get erased. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough, Georgie. I want this to be our Doc Connors and not a variant. Guy got his arm back and got punted to a universe where he can start over. Now that'd be interesting too if this was because remember, Andrew Garfield and all of those Spider-Man, they cured their villains and sent them back to their universes cured instead of killed. So that would be interesting if it upset the timeline, and maybe that is showing that this is taking place in Andrew Garfield's world, maybe. And maybe because Andrew Garfield saved Lizard, Gwen never died, and it undid some of the stuff of Spider-Man 2. And I don't know. And I don't know. But that's like fan stuff. I don't see that being actually written into a script. I think that's how us fans go really wild with our theories and connect dots like that. But movie makers and filmmakers don't do that typically. If it is really a Dr. Connors family, this would make sense, mostly because we don't have to deal with Peter Parker kid in this movie. That's what I'm saying, is I don't think it's kid Peter Parker. A lot of people really are latching onto that because, like I said, they made multiple YouTube videos and posts on Twitter about these leaks and standing by them and saying, I got reliable sources and blah, blah, blah. And they would look really stupid if this movie comes out and it's just a random kid or it's Billy Connors or something. So, yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess time will tell. Andrew probably just trying to get away from the jury and the family is going there or something. Yeah, could be. Agreed, Tevia says to Georgie. Eddie's definitely getting captured after Vegas. Look at what he's wearing. That's what I'm saying. We said that earlier. He's wearing the suit in the jail cell. So, yeah, for sure. Waiting, great movie. Waiting is a great movie. Area 51 is outside Vegas. That's what I'm saying. So, that's why I think maybe that's where they decided to spring the trap on Eddie, is maybe they lure him to Vegas, they capture him there, and they bring him back to the Area 51 place, or the vault, or whatever they call it, and then that's where the finale of the movie takes place, when the xenophage breaks into the lab, and like I said, either Eddie has to free those other suits, or the other suits get freed and they become hybrid with Orwell, and Eddie needs to team up with Toxin to stop Orwell. It could be that too. We'll see. Could be Venom can feel the other symbiotes via the hive mind, and they're going to investigate. Also could be that too. Maybe he starts sensing, maybe that's the thing, is the meteors come down, and Venom's like, hey, Eddie, I feel it. My home has found us, and I can sense them, and they're in that direction. And maybe that's why maybe that's another reason they're going. Maybe it's because of that connection, like you said. I'm not a fan of Anne getting kidnapped simply because of damsel in distress. I'm not either, but that also brings her into a room with other symbiotes. So at the end of the movie, she could be a symbiote again. So that's the only reason I was thinking that. So it's like, yeah, she'll be a damsel, her and Dan, a damsel. Sorry, stupid pun. I wouldn't mind seeing that. So that way they can get symbiotes at the end of the movie. So yeah, anyway. I really don't see the SSMU being the Amazing Spider-Man universe. Yeah, but I also don't see... I guess Venom and Morbius take place in the same universe because Morbius referenced Venom by name, which made zero sense, really. But I can easily ignore Morbius and Madam Web and Kraven as movies tied directly to Venom. So there's no way Kurt would grow hair and beard that fast after coming back. But he went back when Andrew Garfield first met him, which was years earlier. So I don't know what years all these movies take place, but yes, he would grow hair because it wouldn't be that fast. If he gets sent back to his universe cured, that's during the events of Amazing Spider-Man 1. And assuming that Venom 1 and 2 take place after Amazing Spider-Man 2, which that also doesn't make sense because they had a symbiote in their universe. So yeah, but I'm just saying, like, my theory isn't that. Someone else brought that up, but I thought it was interesting to talk about. But I think it's just a Kirk Connors who never became a scientist, and that's what I think. But yeah, if he got sent back, he would sent back in time to his original spot when he got pulled from, which was right before Spider-Man killed him in Amazing Spider-Man 1. So he would grow a beard in that time, possibly. I really don't want multiverse stuff for this movie. Yeah, I don't either. I'm just saying, like, it's fun to think about, though. I will say, do not want anything bad to happen to Miss Chen or her to be like secretly have underworld connections. I just wanted to be herself and no need to be more. Yeah, I think it's cool that if he just randomly runs into her, that's kind of funny. And I like that Mrs. Chen now has been in all 3 Venom movies and also Spider-Verse. She was the Venom connection in Spider-Verse, where we learned that Venom takes place on Earth 688. So that's funny. Damsel in distress. I like it. Which made 0 sense. You just described that whole Morbius movie. Yeah, no, I know. It describes a lot of these movies, to be fair. Morbius also talked about San Francisco incident with the SWAT team. Yeah, so yeah, I guess Morbius does exist in that world. So Anne could become Scream, and her husband could maybe become another symbiote, maybe Phage. I'm just saying, like, that would be the only reason to use them as damsels in distress, so that way they get revenge at the end and you can put a symbiote on them one more time. You believe Dr. Payne will be Scream because in the trailer she had red veins on her neck. I did see that. There is a shot in the trailer. I didn't grab a screen grab of it, unfortunately, but you are right. So now that we talked about Venom in Vegas. That was topic 9 that we just went through. So yeah, I think Venom either was lured there by the government or sensed the symbiotes, like you guys said, that they're in that area. And that could be the case. And that could be how Venom and why he gets from Mexico or wherever he is all the way to, because he gets on a plane at one point, then where the xenophage chases him, he's in water, he's being chased by the jury, he gets on the horse and runs over the mountains and stuff, and then he gets in a van with that family. So it's definitely a cross multiple country road trip kind of movie too, on top of a fugitive story, which I kind of like. So yeah, pretty neat. Venom in Vegas. We already kind of just talked about that previously leading up to right now. So along with the Road to Vegas stuff. So I think we can skip over this one a little bit. But if you have comments, please leave them if you have any more Vegas comments. And we'll go into one of our last topics, which is Venom the Stallion, which is my favorite part about watching other people's Venom 3 trailer reactions is watching their reaction to the horse. Because my reaction was, I couldn't believe it. I was like, all right, we got that big scene at the beginning with the dogs, and now we're seeing the trailer, essentially. And then we get a little stinger at the end. I was not expecting a stinger, considering how long that first scene was. So when we got that stinger, I was like, okay, what is this? And okay, it's a horse there. And then I was like, no way. There's no way he's going to symbiote the horse. And when he did, I flipped out. And my reaction was so, it made me, I get really intense, that I was like, okay, I'm not even one of those types of YouTubers who overplays stuff when he reacts to things. But I know there are, so I got to go watch some of them and see how over the top they get when the horse comes out. And I had a lot of fun just watching people just react to this trailer. I had a blast. And it's funny because you got people who probably clearly saw either a different reaction or saw Twitter posts or something about the xenophage and stuff, and then they were dropping knowledge in the trailer, they knew that stuff. And then there are other fans who did know that stuff, so it was a mixed bag, but none of that stuff offends me. I just whatever you feel like you got to do to entertain your audience, I guess go do a little research and then film your reaction. That's fine, but I think it's fine to go in blind, and that was the fun for me. Was Purple, I guess the trailer dropped when he was at work, so he just shared it. He doesn't really care about the movie or anything like that, about Venom or the comic book stuff we do. So he just shared it for me, which was really cool. So that way later, when I turned on my phone, I was like, oh my God, it dropped 6 or 7 hours ago. I'm like, crap, I got to film this thing now and watch it. So I just came right over, set up the computer, and got to work. And I just loved every second of it. And I was surprised because I had just recently, I was going through old books before I sold my collection. And then also I took screen grabs of stuff too. And I had come across xenophage, and then there was the creatures from Venom the Madness, like those like the little creatures that existed in the water and stuff. And there was all these different things that I came across. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So they were a little bit more fresh in my mind. So when I saw that thing on the trailer, it took me a minute, and I was like, what is that thing? It looks like something familiar, but not. And then I thought, oh, it's a xenophage. And I'm like, wait, is that it right? It could be a xenophage. And then after, when I was editing, I was like, okay, confirmed, it's xenophage. So that's why I put those stills in after when I was talking to confirm, okay, xenophage. Because a lot of that stuff I was guessing on. But yeah, like Jury, I didn't even notice that they could be the Jury or Orwell Taylor when I was watching the trailer until I edited it and I posted those screenshots in. So for me, I was like, all right, cool. But that Venom horse lit me up, man. I had so much fun watching that. Let me find a picture of it, and then I'm going to read some of your comments. I don't think I got a good one. I think this one's okay. And hold on, let me get a drink of water real quick. Yeah, Venom the Stallion is so funny. What a bonkers idea that I just think works. It works for the tone of these movies. So, yeah, let me get to your comments. I gotta read what you guys said. So yeah, okay. So we read that one, and you believe Dr. Payne will be screamed. That could be the case. Mrs. Oh yeah, gotcha. Mrs. Chen dressed up like a fairy godmother at the end of Shrek 2. Oh yeah, I think I saw someone make that comparison. Imagine if we got Venom Rex in live action. I mean, yeah, I don't know how we can squeeze a dinosaur into this without doing time travel or multiverse stuff, but yeah, that'd be kind of funny. It's a great visual. Tom Hardy is like, what's 6'5"? What's 6'5"? That was already a not small horse. It went up to supersize, draft horse size, and Venom horse. My lady friend is on Venom, and then she was like, was awesome. That's what I'm saying. Like, I saw people, even in the trailer reactions, in the beginning, being like watching the dog stuff, and they were like, okay, cool, he's saving the dogs. And then like he makes the joke, like the We Are Venom thing. They have to, because they're not in sync, and they're like, rolling their eyes like, oh, I hate this humor. And then they saw the trailer and like, okay, good song with the, David Bowie song and stuff. And they're like, okay, cool song. It's all right. It's looking good. And then the xenophage shows up and they're like, whoa, what is that thing? And then the horse, everyone, like even if they were low energy up until that point, everyone I saw had some kind of reaction to the horse. And I was like, okay, that's when you had an effective concept that you pulled off really, really well. Because that, I think, even like I said, people with low energy all were like, what the, when it came to that horse. So yeah, very cool. I want a figure of that horse too, of the Venom horse with Eddie on the back. 100% Marvel Legends, get to work. I know the Carnage figure is finally coming out from Let There Be Carnage soon. So we'll have finally 2 Venom movie universe toys. And then, yeah, I would love for the 3rd movie if they did this horse figure. That would be amazing. And yeah, Eddie did a full flip on that horse for sure. And that figure would be an amazing figure. So that's topic 10. Last topic here. Will Venom die? And I'm curious. I know we've kind of talked about it here and there throughout this episode, but this is the last topic I had on here. And I'm curious, do you guys think Venom will actually die? Like I said, I think if they're going to kill one, like just Eddie or just Venom, they might as well kill them both, because I feel like that's how they would go out based on their relationship in these movies. Because really, when you look at it, even if it makes some people uncomfortable, that is the love story in these movies. And it doesn't have to be like romantic love, but like the bond, it's like best friend bond, human to other life form bond, pet bond, like it's just, there's a love there between Eddie and the symbiote. And that's, I think, also why Anne, they're probably fine if she doesn't show up in this movie. Why I'd probably still be fine with it. I would love to see her again and be in a symbiote with Dan and stuff. But really, if the last time we saw them was them leaving and being happy after the church thing in the second movie, I'm okay with that. It's good to know that she has a happy ending somewhere. And I think Eddie would like that she has a happy ending and finds happiness, because in the comic book universe, she does not have a happy ending. So, I think that was the best thing they could do for her, but also to expand their relationship. So I don't know. I see them kind of like a Thelma and Louise, like I see them going out together personally. But you guys may feel differently. So if you do, let me know. If they do die, Tom says, it'll be a heroic sacrifice. I think so too. I think maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's like they take down Hybrid and maybe Toxin gets killed and it's just Eddie, and then Null shows up, and and we get 5 minutes of Null or a version of Null or whatever sent the symbiotes to Earth. Maybe it's not Null, but it's something else. And Eddie has a face off with it, and who knows? Maybe he takes something from the lab, becomes anti-venom, and kills Null. So we get 2 seconds. I mean, they could throw. It's the last movie. Chances are they're going to throw a lot of things and the kitchen sink in here. But I also don't want to get too fanboy either. But maybe that's the thing, is there is a heroic sacrifice, and by stopping the big threat, the one that sends symbiotes to Earth, maybe that's the thing that is his sacrifice at the end. So yeah, it could be. I don't know. That's a good theory though. I see them as brothers. See, exactly. I mean, that's what I'm saying. No matter how you interpret their relationship, there's love there, in my opinion. Like, as long as that's in your mind, then, whether it's brothers or, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, or more, or like I said, friend, like human and pet, like whatever it is. I think there's a love there, and I see them going down swinging together. Georgie says Venom might die, or maybe Venom turns into anti-venom, or maybe just a misdirection. I mean, yeah, we'll see. I mean, that's another thing too, because but I'm pretty sure this is it. Like, as far as I know, this will be it for Venom. Now, it doesn't mean Sony won't make a Venom 4 and cast a different actor and tie it into their Sony universe. It doesn't mean that won't happen. Maybe Tom is just like, look, I don't want to be a part of that. I like what we're doing here, me and Kelly, and let us say our goodbye. And if there's room to do something after, you can, or just shelf the character for a couple years and then have him pop up in something later on. I mean, really at this point, we should just get a Venom animated series. I don't think we need any more movies for a while, or see it. I don't even want to see him in another movie for a while, because after all Tom Holland has been through as Spider-Man already, seeing him versus Venom doesn't really super thrill me anymore anyway. So I don't know. I say do a Venom cartoon TV show, series, and we'll just do that. If they continue to use Bowie for the trailers and Let's Dance or Ashes to Ashes or Absolute Beginners, I'd be thematically appropriate. Yeah, as a lot of people were surprised they didn't use Last Dance for this trailer, but I'm like, they're probably saving it. Probably saving it for a future trailer. Considering this the final movie, I can see Eddie and Venom sacrificing themselves in a blaze of glory. Yeah, I could see that too. I think that, and it's funny, a lot of us seem to be on that same wavelength. I have to go now. I'm hungry. Venom the Hunger. If anyone can feed V with some delicious kakapuri or kinkali, which is Georgian dumplings, then I'll be happy. Okay, fair enough. We'll have to get on that. Well, dude, have a good one. Thanks for hanging out with us, Georgie. And yeah, we're going to be wrapping up here in the next 5-6 minutes. So I'm just going to catch up on comments. So thanks for hanging out with us to the end, buddy. I appreciate it. And again, Sky, Carrie, did you see that? Thank you all for the donations. Those were amazing. Again, if I owe you anything, let me know, please. I don't have any tiers or anything listed for stuff like that, because I never expect to get it. So if there's anything I could do for you, please let me know. That's super kind and amazing of you. So I just want to thank you one more time before the stream ends. Let's see. Personally, I think Eddie and Venom will go thinking they'll die, and Venom sacrifices himself. See, there you go. I think so too. That this being the last movie gives them permission to go nuts. That's what I'm saying. So throw it all in there. Throw it all in there. I know I wanted to see Martin Lee and do the anti-venom that way, but who knows? There could be something down in that lab that could turn him into anti-venom. You never know. Because obviously, if Orwell and his team of scientists are looking at ways to destroy the symbiotes, I would imagine they might come up with something that that would be like that, like an anti-venom solution, like the Alchemex corporation did in the comics. So that's a possibility that something like that could be down there. There could be Project Anti-Venom or Project AV in a room down there somewhere, and that could play a part in that. Venom animated would be amazing. Yeah, we need a Venom animated something. Just continue the Venomverse Venom. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess. As you mean the cartoon? No, the cartoon could be anything. If it wants to be its own universe, if it wants to be a continuation of the movies, it could be whatever. As long as it's a Venom cartoon, that's all I care about. I don't think they'll die. I hope they end together on a deserted island like they did in the comics. If he does die, I hope we get Flash Thompson rolling up in a wheelchair at the end. Copy that. I mean, the second movie kind of had that ending though, where they left San Francisco and they were on an island together. So yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I think I froze there for a second. I think my internet's getting wonky. So another reason to say goodbye. Goodbye, Georgie. You have a good one, man. Thanks for the fun show. You're welcome, Carrie. I'm glad you guys had fun. Thanks for hanging out with me. Venom animated series would be awesome. I agree. Even in the Forbes interview, Tom said they were free to do whatever for this. Yeah, they didn't get held back a lot because the first two movies were successes. So, and it was just him and Kelly at the helm on this one. And of course, they're their close team, like Hutch and other people. But, they were like, and Jake and everyone had a collaboration on this. But it seemed like they got to really go and have fun. And that's good because I think that's going to translate to a fun movie, which this trailer clearly was. The first Venom trailer I thought was a lot of fun when we all saw that and we reacted like, oh my God, it's amazing. And then this one, I feel like kind of matched that level of fun. And especially after Carnage, it's nice to have that again and get that feeling back. So, hey, thank you so much. You stay awesome too, Andrew. I appreciate it. And then Heartbeat, bye guys. This was fun. I had a blast. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for being subscribed on this channel, for the donations today. Again, Carrie, Sky, did you see that? Please go follow those three. They're amazing. Follow each other too. Make some friends. Jared A, who popped in here. Everyone who came in. Georgie. All of you guys are amazing. You guys, a lot of you have been here for the whole 6 years that we've been doing this show, and I cannot thank you enough for that. I've never really maintained or held on to a group of friends in that way, and I don't want to build like a parasocial thing here or anything like that, but I feel like we're all friendly with each other, and we all have respect for each other and each other's opinions, and that's kind of the community we built here, is that we are a hive mind of Venom fans, right? And we may not all agree on stuff, but it's really cool that we all come here and share our opinions, and we don't crap all over each other's opinions. And hopefully I don't do that. If you ever feel like I dismiss your opinion, please, call me out on that, because that's not what I'm here to do. I try to take everything in, but I try to also look at it and go, well, I don't know if that's possible, but, interesting to think about. I try to do that because I like hearing from people, and I want to invite conversation and not put up a wall and block conversation. So I can't thank you all enough for engaging in conversation with me and being here with me today. I'm sorry this didn't happen yesterday when it was supposed to. So again, thank you for your patience on that. And I'm glad we got to do it today. And I'm going to wrap up these comments real quick. See you guys. See you, Tevya. Have a good one. Nice talking with you, Tom. I appreciate it. And later on tonight, I will upload episode 874 of the Venom vlog. And it will be about Venom War, the Prelude. So it's going to be a review kind of discussion of Venom number 33 and 34, which are the Blood Hunt issues, Carnage number 8, and the new or the Free Comic Book Day issue that came out this year that had the Dylan short story in it. We are Venom vlog. Amen to that. So it's a shame that we can't just all go see the opening as a group. I know. And I don't even know when. I was looking into like where the premiere might be, if I'd be able to fly out to like Los Angeles or somewhere to go to it. And financially, I don't know if that's going to be a possibility, but I'm going to keep my eye on it. But I would like to do something cool and make a cool video for you guys for the premiere if I'm able to and have the money to. But if not, I'll at least go to whatever local theater I'm at. And I'll try to bring a couple people with me and film some of it and get their reactions as we leave it. I'll try to do my best. So yeah, we'll try to make something fun out of it. And hopefully, if you guys film a little snippet of you leaving the theater and giving your quick reaction, if you ever want to send that to me and I can include it in a video, I'd be happy to do that for you too. So, all right. Thank you guys again. I appreciate it. That's all the comments. We caught up. We read everything, and we finished all 11 of our total topics here. So I'm just going to bid you guys adieu and say like, share, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and definitely come back for more Venom stuff. Later tonight, I'll have episode 874 drop, and then more to come over the weekend. Thanks so much. See ya. Peace. Bye for real.